Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Timber Dune, where at the beginning of this temperate cycle, something went a little boom, and I wasn't able to find it. It happened in the middle of the end of the montage, and I could not, for the life of me, find the explosives that were going off. So I'm very concerned about the well-being of our beaver population. There's that water source. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I don't know what went off. I really hope that it wasn't something too gnarly that exposed something that I'm not... Yeah, I have no idea what it was. I really have no idea what exploded. So we're going to have to keep an eye on everything. Hopefully nothing too insane occurs that puts us in a very bad position. So we're going to let things continue to move forward. We're going to get back up to 3 times speed and get things moving. We're going to release this water into here so we can continue to pump out this bad water. We did run out of water during the last speed up montage too, so that was mildly concerning, but we're in a better spot now. We have finally exploded all of that out of there, so now we have copious amounts of material available to us for the foreseeable future. By material, I mean copious amounts of water available to us, which will be quite nice. And now we are not expending our extract anymore on blasting all of this out, so that means that we can actually keep our advanced breeding pods staffed, or not staffed, filled, and the progress can continue to move forward on all of that without any issue. And now we can actually start thinking about turning all of these systems back on and getting more of our food back up and running and getting everything good again, since we are actively pumping out water. I did expand our water pump situation just a tad bit. I threw in a couple more pumps in here just because of the fact that, well, we expanded our beaver population substantially, and we will have adults moving in, and yeah, I just wanted to be prepared for that. We do have a decent amount of well-being, so they will be sticking around a bit longer, so we can't necessarily rely on the 1 to 10 rule for each breeding pod at this point with the well-being that we do have right now. That being the case, I do want to turn all this back on, and I do want to get food up and running. Now, this is going to put our hauling post out of the business for a little bit. We are out of scrap, like we noted earlier in the last episode, so that is not good for us. This is all in now, so in theory, none of this should become an issue for us. I do want to... I think we needed logs, gears, and sparkly planks for all this, which we do have being produced. We are encroaching on a bad tide, so that will not be the greatest thing for us to be playing with, but we do have a large reservoir here for us to work with. So that will make our life a bit easier moving forward. So that is fantastic. And we do have a spare beaver running about the cabin, so that is good for us to see. We do have copious amounts of power now, so we can turn that back on and get science moving again, which will be beneficial because we are going to start spending that science here relatively soon on stuff like the efficient mine and stuff like the bad water cap or the discharge, so we can keep this running and keep power moving. One thing that I would like to get to today is changing this out and into a better power system, but that would require us having this uncapped, so that, or having this capped so we can have this running constantly, so we can in turn not be heavily reliant upon all these steam engines over here. But that requires a little bit of time, and we're not quite there yet. Again, back to the metal blocks being an issue. We don't have those. It takes 300 metal blocks just to, or 200 metal blocks, sorry, 200 metal blocks to keep this, to even work on this. So that'll take a little bit of a pause for now. We still do need a copious amount of these treated planks. So I think what we're going to do first is rip that out, pull this over, and put in another wood workshop right here, just so that we can expedite the production therein of these guys. I don't know why I put that right there, so let's pull that over to there. This was not needed, so we can go ahead and rip that out and well, no, we'll need that to expand later. That's fine. Now we do have 2 beavers, nothing to do with our hands. We're going to need gears, but we're also going to need planks moving forward, and we can even think about unpausing the smelter here soon to go through the rest of the scrap metal that we do have on hand. Now, I do want this to get taken care of sooner rather than later. We do have 8 builders running about the cabin, so in theory this should get done really quick, I hope. We have 37 over here. We have 120 gears over here. How many gears did this require? 450? So we probably want to bring even more gears onto this side. Maybe something like that. Put that in right there. You can be gears as well, and you can hit the obtain button on that end. That'll take a few seconds for the builders to run over there and take care of that. This is in now, so that is good. That means we are producing even more treated planks, which is great. I think what we would like to also do is probably start blasting this down just a tad bit. Clean up this corner. That'll give us a little bit more storage area. And as we encroach upon this bad tide, we do need to go ahead and close this off now. And remember to close this off so we don't fill this entire reservoir with poo water, which is what we don't want to do. We have 1.6k units of water available to us now, which is a heck of a lot better than we had previously. So that is really good for us to see, and we can continue to pump all of this out as we are reliant on water dumpers everywhere to keep all of our systems up and running. So that is good. All right, 200 beavers, that's going to happen because a lot of our stuff does have a medium to, if not high, chance of injury, which is something we will have to accept, which is not the greatest, but it is what it is. Now, we do have plenty of planks and plenty of logs available to us now. We might go ahead and burn some of those planks and logs and start putting in some large warehouses for continued food storage. We might do that over here. Maybe on this side. Yeah, let's get this ripped out here. Maybe even that one too. And that will let us build up some large warehouses on this side of the system. Now, I did have a plan for this whole area down here. Blasting this out and setting up a secondary reservoir on this side, which I'm not opposed to doing. I would like to do that, but that also requires copious amounts of explosives and extract. And as you can see, we're not doing the best on either of those. So we will just have to make do with what we have available to us right now, which is still a fair amount of material, and that will meet the intent. Let's go ahead and start putting in a few of these. I would like to put in our kohlrabi, our fermented soybeans, our fermented cassava, our corn, and let's go ahead and put in our eggplant rations as well. Now this will provide us with a good amount of food storage as we continue to produce all of this in excess, which is a good thing so that we don't run into a huge food issue. Hopefully, because we do have plenty of it. We don't really have much in the way of storage for all of the base components right now. And we are filling up the other storages relatively quickly. So if we can provide them more places to put all that material, then that means that stuff will get accomplished a little bit easier. Hopefully, at least that's my going in argument or going in thoughts on all of this. Now that will consume a fair amount of our planks, which is not the greatest, but it will do. And it'll consume a fair amount of our logs, which is, again, not the greatest, but it will do yet again. And we will go ahead and dip in a little bit to our hauling posts, if not into our building post over here, just to expedite the production or the tearing down of these trees back here, which is going slowly, but it is going, and that's all that matters. We are actively pumping bad water. I would rather not be solely reliant upon these guys to do all of that. Then again, I don't really have much else. If I had a few more beavers running about the cabin, which we do not have right now, we could unlock that area over there, but that is not an option right now that we can dip into. Now, another thing that we could do is maybe... Well, I don't have any more coffee beans. I only have the 20 coffee beans, and I've turned off the rest of those coffee beans, so that's not really going to be an option for us. We could come over here and build a mangrove area, which wouldn't be a bad thing. Mangrove and a swimming area. I kind of want to do more well-being stuff. Don't need showers. Scratchers would be nice. Put some scratchers in just to make them a little bit happier, and we do have these spots down here. You can put those in. That'll be nice. Everybody likes a good scratch in the morning. Give them a little bit more happiness. We could unlock the detailer. That's going to consume our sparkly planks, which we don't necessarily want to be consuming right now due to the fact that we're saving those up for our efficient mine and the further production inside the efficient mine. We could unlock the exercise plaza. That's going to consume 10 of our metal blocks, but we have 112 of those available to us, so I don't think that would be a bad idea. It doesn't require power or anything. It's just a huge... takes up a lot of real estate, right? That's a lot of real estate to be taken up by a singular piece of equipment, but I'm not opposed to doing that. Rip this out right here. We can put our exercise plaza over here. That's not the greatest spot, but it is not the worst spot either. Do a little bit of cleanup on this side too. Let's get that out of here. I kind of want to rip all the rest of this out, but again, I have plans for this river that runs through here. At some point, I want to dig into that and gain access to all that. I would love to find out what that explosion was that went off and caused copious amounts of damage or unknown damage. But I can't, I have no idea. I don't have a full layout of all the systems underneath there. And we do have a fair amount of bad water in here for us to pump out, so that'll be good. We can let even more in, so we can continue to pump that out as soon as we have a few more hits pop out. That isn't going to expand too much further into here. They are pumping out the rest of this. We still have 2.8k units of water available to us, which is pretty nice, and a fair bit of water down in this system down here, so that is good. Like I did say, I do want to blast this out. I think we should be able to reach that without issue. That went in relatively quickly. Nice. We can blast that down. We can also unlock this double here. Throw that in, and they can blast that out. And then we can rip these guys out of there. And that will let us put in a little bit more storage there. I don't want that one there. Get that out of there. We'll do onesie twosie there. That'll be fine. Awesome. 3,000 units of water. We are not in a bad spot anymore. I'm quite happy to report that we are doing really good on that end. And we are slowly but surely producing all of our beautiful treated planks. I would love to see that move a little bit more expeditiously, but it is not occurring, which is not the greatest. We might... Really, I should have lined this up a little bit more in line with all that. Aesthetic building is still not my forte. But it's okay. It's acceptable. This is out of the way now. We can blast that out, hit that button there, and then we can also throw this in right there. That'll put us there. And we can also just go ahead and rip that out. We have enough builders running around with nothing to do with their hands. They can come clean that up for us, and that'll be good. That's out. We can also throw in triple dynamites there. You can also come down here and tear that out. Have them come and clean this up for us. And I believe that's going to be a triple there. Just to ensure that we are correct. That is a triple. So let's get that in. They can reach that without any issue. You are a double, so... I think you're a double? No, you are also a triple. So let's get a triple in there. They should be able to reach that. Get that picked up, and then it'll be good. Or actually, I think I want to pause YouTube, but you're not really needed to be paused. I would love to find more beavers. I think we can probably expand our beaver population just a tad bit more. Let's do that. Pull that across like that. They did put in our scratchers, so scratchers are in. That's nice. This labor monument is slowly going in. That's really not going to do too much for us, and it's not covering this one barracks over here, but I think we could probably tear that one out and let them move into one of these houses over here and get their happiness from that in. So let's do that, and we can fit something else in here. What, I do not know at this point, but we can fit something in there. All right, sweet. We have 7 injuries, which is not the greatest, but now we are empty here, so we can get the haulers back in and let us work on other jobs moving forward. And we can blast all this out, blast that down, throw this in here, and then also rip this out. Give us a single there. They didn't clean any of this up, so they won't be able to reach that. They should be able to reach this, though. Get that taken care of, and we can also throw in this triple dynamite there. Blast this down and out of the way. Hit this button here. Throw in our triple dynamite there. That can get done, and now we can go ahead and blast that out there. It's not much, but it's a little bit more water storage, and I can't complain about more water storage. All right? Sweet. Nice. Now we can come in here, pull this in, put in doubles on top, blast that out, put that triple in right here, put in another set of doubles there, and now we can put even more water, deep water pumps down there. At some point, I would like to come down here and blast this down one more layer. That'll provide us with a little bit more total water storage, but I'm not too concerned about that right now. We still have 3,000 units of water available to us, which is really, really nice. I would like to expand that even more, putting in some more large tanks back in here, but this is fine for now. And we have plenty of haulers moving about the cabin, which is good. We have plenty of food storage again, which is even better because we can now start blitzing through all of those food stores. And we're at 192 treated planks. So I think we might be able to come in over here and start unlocking this. We have 135 metal blocks. So we're going to have to just accept the long trek over here for now, due to the fact that we don't have enough metal blocks to actually build our two-way stations. I would like to get a two-way station set up here. I would like to get a two-way station set up here as well, which requires blasting some stuff out, running paths on or underneath all of our tunnels and everything. We can put all the other fun jazz in there, which would be quite nice. We can now open that up. That's going to dump a little bit of poo water down into that whole system, but it's going to be relatively negligible. At some point, we could come over here and probably put some sort of fluid dumper on top of that. But for now, this is fine. We're going to pause you, unpause all of these systems back here, and rip this out. And that will be a priority rip out. And go ahead and put in our other large storage tank here, just so we can store even more water, so we don't run into the problem that we did in the past. I do need to turn you two back on, which would be quite nice. That'll give us a lot bit more water to pump out, and that will be huge. And I think we could probably just go ahead and turn this back on. That'll leave us with 8 positions unfilled, but those are all hauling positions, and that is fine. This is going to be water, and that will be huge. And then we can even connect this up right there. This is quite the hectic layout for all of this. I'm not exactly happy with how this all looks, but it is what it is. Until we can come in here, rip all this out, and put all of our water pumps on top of platforms, so we're not sitting on green real estate. That'll take a little bit of time before we can get to that level. But when we do, that will be really nice. But today is not that day. All right. How are we doing over here? These stairs are in. This is all flowing out on this side. We can probably unpause you, get you in here to chop down all of this lumber for us. And also we can get these guys in to rip out all of the blockages for a few seconds. That'll clear up our path into there. And what did we need? You require, for the efficient mine, extract and sparkly planks, which extract is being produced quite nicely, which is good. But it's being quite slow. Not happy about that. That'll take a few more seconds for them to get over there and to do all of that. That will be nice, because I'm tired of being on the cusp of being out of metal blocks. Though there's not much that I can really do about that. We're just out of metal blocks. There's just the problem that we have. Yes. All right. We have 75 beavers. We have 3,000 units of water, or 3,500 units of water available to us. We have copious amounts of food slowly being produced, which is awesome. All of this is up and running for us, and we are still growing on that end, so that is good. We are pumping all of this out, which is even better. I would like to... Hold up. Do we get into... We don't really have much in the way of metal blocks to even get into this, because this... Like, we would consume all of our metal blocks to produce, just to build the bot factories. We haven't solved the power problem yet. The power problem is still very much an issue. So we're going to have to accept the fact that we have a high chance of injury in the efficient mine. And probably that turns into expanding our beaver population just a tad bit more while we deal with that fact. We'll just have a rotation of beavers constantly going into our sick beds, our medical beds, because of the fact that, well, that's what we have for now. Okay. Gears are in a good spot. We are at a good enough spot for that to go in, and I think that is a good time for us to come over here and place this in now. Again, huge trek for them to make. But I really don't have much of an option for that until we can get more metal blocks in. That's 20 right there, and each of these is going to be 1 metal block a pop. That's 40 just to get the 2-way stations alone, and then we're talking... We're already at 174 path or district path distance. That's of course not a straight line, but yeah, we're not quite there yet. Not quite there yet. That is going in nicely though. Logs and gears and treated planks are going in. I think we should be fine to go with the efficient mine for now. The scrap metal efficient, that should be okay. And we'll pull this down to 5 workers. We do have a bad tide encroaching upon us too, but we did have nearly a max temperate cycle, which is quite nice. I'm happy about that. It'll be really good. And that'll give us a few more of the water pumper positions back to go in and do other things for us, like haul, like build. And we do have another advanced raiding pod in, like I said, to continue to do all those fantastic things for us. Now, what do you require? You require metal blocks, so we can't really put any more of you in. We do have that all in there now, so we have plenty of medical beds. That's going to be the place where they go out or go to when the time comes, which is awful, but it is what it is. I would like to come in here and probably put in more storage for our explosives, though. So maybe we do a large warehouse for explosives right here. And I would like to have a large tank for extract. We're going to need that again soon. I'm going to take that out. We're going to path over, and we're going to put this in right here. You are going to be extract, just backup extract storage. We'll put in another large industrial pile here. Put in more sparkly planks. That'll get accomplished at its earliest convenience, which is going to take a little bit of time because they're actively working on this, which is taking a bit of their time because they're having to travel halfway across the world. What we can do is put in some small warehouses over here for food purposes for our beavers that are going to be in here working their tails off. Put all of that in, and we might throw in just medium water tank for giggles. That'll be nice. You're bored, so you can go do other things with your hands. Probably give these guys a bump as far as priority and do the same over here just to get this done, because I would like to have this done before the other thing kicks off. It'll give us a little bit more time to get treated planks moving in a little bit of a better position, get our haulers able to move all of that material over here just to help out with the building process. At least that's my going in argument. Could prioritize these by haulers. Again, hate doing this, but it will alleviate a little bit of this issue on this back end. I need to pause real quick. I have neglected to raise this, and I have neglected to raise that. All right. Cool. We have 4.7K, 4.8K units of water, which is more than necessary to meet the demand for the next 10 days of this bad tide, which is a good thing. It's a fantastic thing. That is an amazing thing. I'm happy to report that we are able to actually do that at this point in time. And we do have 80 adults, 80 beavers running about the cabin. Means we're burning through, we'll call it an easy 200 units of water per day for 10 days. That's 2,000 units of water. We are going to have to expand our water storage at some point. as well. Because we can't do 20 days with what we can currently store, which is not exactly the greatest. Do water storage on this side and water storage on that side. Sure. Water. Copy. Boom. You will be obtain. No, not supply. Obtain. There we go. Awesome. There we go. Done. Do I not have you marked for cutting? I do. Good. They'll consume a little bit more of our metal blocks. Again, not what we want to see happen, but it is what it is. You are supposed to be extract. Extract. This is really, really slow on this end. Maybe we pause 6 of these. 4 should meet the requirements there, and we can unpause these just to expedite the bad water production. We are really not meeting the bad water demand at all, which is awful, but it is what it is. All right, cool. This is still going in. Need 10 more planks and a couple more gears. Metal blocks are still going in. Got a spare beaver. We can turn that back on. That's fine. These will take a minute. 5.1k units of water. That is enough for... Okay, now we're ready for 20 days. And another couple of these will put us ready for a 30-day cycle. Just beaver consumption. We're not talking any other consumption at that point. So that will need to be rectified at some point in the future as well. Okay. We have 2 more adult beavers with nothing to do with their hands. They're popping out pretty quickly, so that is good. We might even throw in an additional builder's hut to meet that population expansion that we are currently seeing. We can hit this as a supply depot, and you can be an obtain depot. That'll be nice. That'll be huge. That'll be fantastic, and I am here for it. That puts us in a pretty decent position as far as extract purposes are concerned. We can hit these obtain buttons for our haulers to get over here and bring this material over when it is available to them. That is awesome. This is going to take another 5,000 years to finalize. Might just go ahead and do something a tad bit ridiculous and put a few of our beavers over here just to put all this in. 126 treated planks. That's not quite enough. We need 180 treated planks. Once that's full, yeah, that should be fine. It should be enough. So as soon as we get more treated planks in over here, we can, and this medium tank in, we can prioritize obtain water on that side. And they can bring all of that material in. We can just break this off and have our builders on this end very quickly throw this together, because all the materials should be right here. Other than the treated planks, which are making their way in. Just slowly. Very, very egregiously slowly. But it is making its way in, so that's all that matters in the grand scheme of things. They are really eating through those treated planks really quickly. Okay. That's fine. Alright, so what we're going to do... I'm going to pause this, tell them to hurry up and expedite that over here. Unpause you two, or you. We can get that done. Finish pumping out the rest of that water. They're going to finish knocking these out for us real quick, and I think we can probably unpause. Oh, I can't unpause you. I need to unpause you. Honestly, I'd like to get in another wood workshop. right, 150. Good, 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 good. We have enough food over here for a couple days. Okay, so we're going to do something a little bit ridiculous. We're going to break this off. We're going to grab this district manager real quick. We're going to throw in a district crossing. Not a district crossing. We're going to throw in a district center right there. We're going to rip that out. Put this in to there. Unpause you. Pull that up to 4. Be silly and put in a small district. Or, sorry, district center, district crossing. That can go right there. Sure. We'll put maybe 5 beavers in on this side just to ensure that they have food moving in and out relatively quickly. We're going to migrate population. We're going to say a minimum of 5 adults in District 2. That should meet the intent there, and let them blitz through all of that. We do not need these selected for that positioning anymore, and that should be fine. Bada bang, bada boom. Give this a priority build site. Pull that down worker size a little bit. Do the same thing there, and that'll be good. You need to turn that off. There we go. Do the same on that end and there, and that should do it. Now we should probably give them a little bit of housing over here. Maybe we'll just have this blocked off in its entirety, and they can just do efficient mine stuff over here, and we can let the district crossing be the thing that we rely upon. I'm not opposed to this. I want you to be spark planks, you to be logs, you to be scrap metal, and you can be scrap metal as well. Alright, that's 5 on this side. They are quite expeditiously building this for us, which is quite nice. And that should... This one beaver should continue to move stuff in and out, and we can maybe make their life a little bit easier by placing more materials in over here, here, and here. Might even put in a few more beavers into this district crossing as well and get that taken care of. Give that a plus up and probably give this a max priority so they're not sleeping out in the open. And I've completely neglected the fact that I wanted to build our exercise plaza. Oops. These guys are going to be quite sad. I don't know how long I want to keep this side up and running. Probably not that long, but as long as they're actively building on this, we can give them a little bit of happiness, you know? So is this really even necessary? I don't think this is necessary. Do I want... We can build this up. It is feasible. We'd have to bring them plenty of entertainment. You know what? Let's build it up. Yeah, we're gonna build it up. That also requires us bringing foodstuffs over here to make sure that our one guy in here is able to get them all the materials that they need. This will be a supply hub. This will be a supply hub. This will be an obtain hub. You'll be obtain. You'll be whatever. That side will get filled by the district crossing. And water should come in here. So you should accept all. We don't need berries on this side, but that's okay. Okay, cool. Let's get that back up and running, and we can do small well-being stuff for these guys. Like a campfire, which is always nice. Throw that in right there. Then we can throw in a little bit more well-being, like a scratcher. A scratcher post is always nice. There we go. Don't know if we have a place for planks inside this area, so let's put in some planks. Regular planks there. That is good. They are still very slowly putting all of that in. I'm somehow out of logs. It's probably because I put 40 logs into that. But we should be pulling this over now. Water is making its way in. I need a medium tank for water to help feed that. And what we can do once we have metal blocks up and running, we can just put our tube-way station right here and feed that into this whole system, which will be a little bit better than hopefully a little bit better. We'll see. We want the obtain button selected. I want you all supply, your obtain, obtain. Sweet. That's in. I want you to be a priority build. Logs are out. We're almost out of logs everywhere. I think it's about time for us to throw in this additional lumberjack flag or two right there to help clear out the rest of those trees, which we still haven't really done much of. All that poo water down there is from the last bad tide that we had roll through, which is not the greatest, but it is acceptable. We are doing much better on extract now. Since we're able to store a little bit more, I would like to clean up these logs real quick. And that'll get that taken care of, and this should be nearing completion. Is what I'd like to say, but we're somehow out of gears on this side again. Thought I had enough gears to meet the demand signal there, but alas, I was incorrect. Let's throw in a medium warehouse there for gears. Hit this obtain button. Not entirely sure why you haven't been built yet, but that's okay. We are not doing the greatest on total gears. Probably means that we need to turn this guy back on. That'll be great. Why are we actively filling this in? Pretty sure all of this is closed. Okay, all of that's just poo water down there at the bottom from the last go. There it goes. Now it's all dried out. Now all of these guys can go and haul for us for a little bit. Puts us with 3 additional spots going unfilled, which means we can turn this side on. A little bit more of those beavers. Get that taken care of. That means that goods will come across a little bit more quickly, in theory. And I did not get this put in. Get those in, please, and thank you. That'll be great. It'll be grand and it'll be fantastic, and I'm here for it. All right. All right. I think the next thing that we get to do is expand our total happiness and also come down here and blast a little bit more of this out. It requires crawling our way back down into there, but I'm not opposed to that in any way, fashion, shape, or form. We have plenty of explosives to get down there and do that too. So that should be nice. This was set to obtain. You are set to obtain. So that means that these guys don't have to go nearly as far to get the materials that are needed to do the transfer at the district crossing. At least that's why I built this hub. Whether or not that is going to work as intended is yet to be determined. This is waiting on the last 90 or 84 gears, which are making their way in. Just taking its sweet time. Gears are making their way here. Just manage distribution here. Make sure we're not... Okay. We import always. Import when needed, right? Import if needed. Yep, workplace demand and storage, which we have, so that means that should get filled in there. We're going to need to extract on this side too, so we'll probably need to, well, we will need to put in a medium tank here. for extract on this side. And I think these guys are not the happiest. So let's go ahead and continue increasing their overall well-being somehow. Which looks like... I'm not sure. Something right there, maybe? You can hang out on top of the large industrial pile full of logs. That's fine, you know, why not? Provides them a little bit more entertainment on that end. That's good. We are going to need medical beds out the wazoo on this side too. So that will go in. Going to consume a lot of our logs and a lot of our planks. But that should be making its way across, which it is. That is good. Food is still doing decent on this end, and that's the end of our bad tide, which means all these get thrown open, and all of that gets to be filled with poo water yet again for half of a second, and we get to pump all this out again. Great. Now we're out of haulers again, and we're still down to 10 haulers and 1 builder position empty there. I think we could probably pause those two and get haulers moving about, since we're not actively building anything on this side anymore. We're solely focused on what's happening over here, which means keeping an eye on everything on this end. I think we could probably put planks in right there. Hit this obtain button. We'll give this a priority bump for now, just to make sure that it goes. Y'all are bored because I didn't reopen that for y'all to let that poo water back in there. That's on me, guys. My apologies. And we have 8,400 units of water storage available to us, which is fantastic. Some of that is incorporated on this end, but that is affected. Food's doing decent on this side. I probably want to put in some better storage for food over here. We might do that. We can keep them well and truly adjusted. So I want kohlrabi, we want that, we want you and corn, and we could probably blast a little bit of this out and more of this out. That requires us to crawl up here and also be bringing in explosives. It's not entirely necessary, but it is nice to have. This is on, though. So that's good. Total beaver population is a little lackluster. We have 0 unfilled positions on this side. I think we can come over here. Somebody's bored on this side? No, nobody's bored on this side. They did put that in. They did put that in. Got explosives coming in on this end, so that is good. We need more sparkly planks on this side, and we need extract to come in here a bit more aggressively than what it currently is. So probably expand this a tad bit more, and that also requires us to throw in 1 more of these and put extract in right there and hit this obtain button. I don't have any builders working on this side, so I need to turn this back on. That'll pull from haulers. Again, not my favorite thing to do, but that is okay. All right. What else can we do for entertainment for these guys? Or you put in a monument. Why not? A little bit of a flavor monument, you know? You can get healed up. It'll be nice. Blast that out of there. That's all cleaned up. Now we can put in a medium warehouse or 2 or 3. Continue to feed all of these bad Johnnies down in here, which will make their lives that much better. I think we've got everything that we are actively producing over here right now, right? So we can probably prep for algae and the likes when we do get into that That is going to take a hot minute for that to get produced, but that's fine. Logs are still a bit of an issue on this end. I don't want to prioritize anything. We don't need to prioritize that right now. Okay. How are we doing on this end? Do that. We're still 6 shy. 6.5 or 6.1k units of water. That's fantastic. We're on day 4. That is also fantastic. We have 6 injuries. All probably from working in the centrifuge and systems like that. Probably even the explosives factory. Which stinks a lot. But it is what it is. I think we don't need gears coming in over here anymore. What can we put in over here? Probably more soybeans, fermented soybeans. Sure. All the food stuff is making its way over here. Gears are there. Treated planks are here. So that should be able to make their lives a little bit easier for transferring goods through the district center. It should, anyway, allow that to happen. So let's pull this down to 1. You can go down to 3. And we are going to injure those poor beavers. But we're also going to give that a priority and drop this as a priority. Well, no, we're building it from the other side. Yeah, our guys are building it from the other side of the district crossing. So, you know what? That's fine. It's getting put in. That's all that really matters in the end. So that's fantastic. All right. I normally don't do district crossings or districts this early, but you know what? It's working. And we have 10 scrap metal now, which is amazing. And it makes me happy. I think we're going to need to expand our beaver population yet again, though. Just a tad bit to meet that demand over there, that demand signal. We're doing decent on water. I feel like we should be fine. Yeah, we should be fine to go up to 2 more. 2 more should be good. We have a bad tide. We did have a max temperate cycle, so that's fantastic. Can't really take advantage of that right now because we don't have much in the way of additional storage available to us to actually expand this area. We could actually come down here and rip more of this out with tunnels and have this expand out and underneath here, and that would be pretty neat, but really not necessary, I don't think. Maybe, I don't know. Let's open this a tad bit and let more poo water into there so those guys can keep working. Once we're at 2k units of bad water, I might close this whole system. Or close this down and pause those positions and get those into here. Yeah, we are injuring our poor beavers. We've got 1 injury, a couple injuries in here. 1 injury in here, that stinks. Yeah, we're gonna need more beavers on this side than just the 5. That's in, so that's cool. Let's have our 1 builder in here rip a little bit of this out. We're gonna want to put in another barracks there real quick. But we can do some small decorations in here for these guys. Put in a lantern here, a shrub there, just to make their lives that much more entertaining. Once we get this ripped out, we can then put in 1 more large barracks on this side, which requires logs to come across, which is taking its time. Maybe we bring in enough to put in another small hauling post on this side as well. Not opposed to that. We'll pull that down worker-wise. Pull it to that position. That'll be good. Should have all the materials readily on hand to accommodate that. Let's max this out. pull this up to 2. That is going to be 1. So whatever we migrate population-wise over here. Let's call it 15. It's going to severely hamper us on this end. Probably empty out that hauling post entirely, which it did. But now we've got 1 board beaver in here. We can go and finish building this hauling post, and then we can pull this back down and get them into something else to do with their hands. What are you doing? Why are you sleeping out in the... Okay. Get that put in. That'll be great. And now we can put in our... What do we have? We have 15. That should be fine for us to do something like that. That in there. That'll be... That should meet the intent. Here slowly, of course, producing all of the scrap metal. Scrap metal is at 162, which is fantastic. And this side should be grabbing all that scrap metal and moving it across. I do need a place to store scrap metal on this side, which I don't believe I do have. Now we do have it. We might even turn this side into scrap metal as well, instead of logs. But for now, logs are okay. Put our lantern in, so that'll make their lives a little bit more happy and entertaining, you know? That's good. Awesome. Oh, goodness gracious. Keep forgetting to come over here and fix this. All right. 19-day bad tide. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. Awesome. So, I'm happy to report we have a secondary district up and running. We are slowly producing enough scrap metal to come over here and turn that into metal blocks, which means we're one step closer to getting our two-way system up and running, which means we can make their lives that much more efficient and get things done more greatly for all of our beaver kind, which is amazing, and I love to see it. I also hate to see this entire river of poo water. This is awful and not good for my mental well-being or my beaver's well-being. Like, how would you like it to be sitting down here staring at an ocean of poo water spilling towards you constantly through every bad tide while you're just trying to dig through a mine for some scrap metal? Anyway, I digress. I hope you guys enjoy this video. We progressed a little bit. We've got copious amounts of happiness and storage and all the other good things for our beavers to continue to expand and see wonderful and amazing things. It's slow progress, but it is kind of stemmed by the fact that we don't have much in the way of metal blocks right now. Aside from that, I'm happy to see us moving forward and doing wonderful things. Anyway, I digress. I'll let you guys go. Have a fantastic day wherever you're in the world. Stay safe out there. Stay thirsty. And keep rocking the free world. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Timber Dune. I'm out. See ya.